Have you ever pondered the bitter irony of life? Those who give the most often end up with empty hands. You turn your soul inside out, sacrificing your time, money, and emotional resources, only to be met with cold indifference or, even worse, to have your kindness taken for granted. This feeling is familiar to many of us. From an early age, we were indoctrinated with the mantra, be kind, share everything, help your neighbor. We grew up believing that altruism is the key to love and recognition. But the reality of the modern world often strikes a harsh blow. What if your endless responsiveness is not a gift, but a curse you have inflicted upon yourself? What if, by transforming into an inexhaustible fountain of help, you are not saving the world, but destroying yourself? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism, which has survived millennia, offers us a sobering perspective on this issue. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus taught not just kindness, but wise virtue balanced by self-preservation. Today, we will dive into a deep analysis of the dark side of excessive generosity. We will dissect 10 destructive consequences of immoderate kindness and arm ourselves with 4 powerful Stoic strategies to regain control over our lives. If you are tired of being the convenient person, this video will be your guide to change. Point 1. The illusion of weakness. Paradoxically, excessive availability is often interpreted by others not as strength of spirit, but as weakness of character. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in self-control and discipline, in the ability to say no to the superfluous in order to say yes to the essential. When you always say yes, you blur your boundaries. People, by nature, inclined to seek the path of least resistance, begin to see you not as a benefactor, but a resource. A person onto whom one can dump routine, boring tasks, or emotional baggage. You become the fail-safe option. This is a dangerous trap. Respect is born where there are boundaries. Imagine a fortress without walls. Anyone can enter and take whatever they please. Such is the life of a person without boundaries. Start practicing Stoic firmness. Your refusal is not rudeness, it is a declaration of your value. When you refuse politely but firmly, you send a signal, I respect myself, my time is valuable. This changes the dynamic of relationships. From an errand boy, you transform into a personality that must be reckoned with. Remember, every time you suppress the desire to refuse, you betray yourself. Point 2. The trap of unjustified expectations. Marcus Aurelius often wrote that our tranquility depends on the quality of our thoughts, not on the actions of others. The expectation of reciprocity is the root of most disappointments. We sign an unspoken contract in our heads. I helped you today, so you will help me tomorrow. But the world did not sign this contract. When you give too much, subconsciously expecting praise or a return favor, you place your happiness and dependence on external factors, which contradicts the principles of Stoicism. You invest emotions in people who may be incapable or unwilling to respond in kind. And when there is no reaction, resentment, anger, and a sense of injustice are born. The Stoic solution is radical and liberating. Do good for the sake of good itself, or do not do it at all. If you decide to help, let go of the result. Imagine throwing a stone into a river. You do not expect the river to throw it back. Find freedom in selflessness. If you cannot give without expecting gratitude, it is better to abstain. This will preserve your peace of mind. Point 3. A magnet for parasites. In nature, there are predators looking for easy prey. In human society, there are people looking for those who don't know how to refuse. The Stoics believe that we are like that which surrounds us. If you radiate endless, uncritical generosity, you become a beacon for manipulators, narcissists, and energy vampires. These people are not looking for partnership, they are looking for a donor. Healthy, self-sufficient individuals might find your obsessive help strange or suspicious, but those accustomed to living at someone else's expense will stick to you instantly. You risk creating an environment where everyone sees in you only a function, a means to achieve their goals. Balance is the key. The ability to filter whom to help and when is an act of wisdom. You are not obligated to save everyone. By setting strict criteria for your help, you scare off parasites and attract worthy people who value reciprocity and respect. Build relationships on a foundation of dignity, not victimhood. Point 5. The loss of self. Serving others is a noble goal, but not when it becomes an escape from oneself. Often, we dive headfirst into other people's problems so as not to hear the cry of our own soul. This is a form of escapism. While you are busy saving a friend from another bad relationship or doing work for a colleague, you ignore your ambitions, your pain, your development. Stoicism reminds us your primary responsibility is yourself, your mind, and your virtue. By constantly dissolving into others, you erase your personality. You become a shadow of other people's lives. And when silence falls, you are left alone with the emptiness you try to fill with others' cares. Self-care is the foundation upon which helping others is built. Like in an airplane, put the mask on yourself first, then on the child. This is not selfishness, it is common sense. Only by being a whole, fulfilled individual can you bring real benefit to the world rather than just being a plug for other people's holes. Point 6. Suspicion and mistrust. We live in a cynical world. Sincere, all-encompassing kindness is so rare that it often evokes not admiration, but suspicion. Why is he trying so hard? What does he need from me? What's the catch? These questions arise in people when they encounter excessive courtesy. Your desire to be good to everyone can be interpreted as a hidden motive, manipulation, or hypocrisy. People are used to the idea that there's no such thing as a free lunch. By trying to please everyone, you may gain a reputation as a person without a backbone or a flatterer. Stoicism teaches us to be honest and transparent. You don't need to bend over backwards to prove your goodness. Be natural. Let your good deeds be targeted and justified, not an overflowing stream of syrup. Trust is earned by consistency and adequacy, not by cloying service. Point 7. The path to addiction and burnout. Emotional burnout is a real disease of the 21st century, and excessive altruists are in the highest risk group. When you constantly give away energy without replenishing it, a vacuum forms. The soul demands compensation, and here lies a terrible danger, the risk of displacement. To drown out fatigue and the feeling of emptiness, a person may turn to food, alcohol, mindless consumption, or other addictions. This is an attempt to artificially raise dopamine, which have been depleted in the race for others' well-being. The Stoics called for moderation in everything, including self-sacrifice. If loved ones tell you that you look tired, that you have become irritable, or are drinking too much wine in the evening, listen. This is not criticism, it is an alarm signal. Admitting your vulnerability is not weakness, it is wisdom. Caring for your physical and mental health is your duty to nature and yourself. Point 8. One-sided relationships. Imagine that you are that friend who is called only when everything is bad. You are the shoulder to cry on, the crisis manager, the free psychologist. But when these people have a celebration, a party, or just a good day, you are forgotten. You do not fit into the picture of joy. You are associated with problems. It hurts. You realize that you are being used as a tool. Stoicism teaches us to assess reality soberly. Look the truth in the eye. Are these people your friends, or are you just a convenient function in their smartphone? Friendship is a union of equals, an exchange of energy, joy, and support. If the balance is disturbed, it is not friendship, it is exploitation. Do not be afraid to revise your social circle. It is better to be alone than with those who value only your utility but not your personality. Point 9. Violation of family boundaries. It is hardest to say no to those we love. Relatives are often the main violators of our boundaries, manipulating feelings of duty and guilt. "But you're my brother, we are family." These phrases become lockpicks to your time and wallet. But Stoic wisdom states, everything has a limit. If helping family destroys your own life, financial stability, or marriage, it is no longer a virtue, but recklessness. Help must be feasible. Do not give away the last of what you have to cover someone else's irresponsibility. Setting boundaries with loved ones is the highest level of self-control. It will cause resentment, perhaps scandals, but it is necessary for the health of the entire family system. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect for boundaries, not on endless parasitism. Point 10. Stealing time from yourself. Seneca wrote the treatise on the shortness of life, where the main idea is simple. Life is long if you know how to use it. But we squander time on nonsense, on other people's requests, on empty conversations. Time is the only non-renewable resource. Money can be earned, health can be improved,